And now we're live on YouTube, hopefully, maybe, possibly. I think. Indeed, we are.
Hey, Will, guess what I just did? Guess what I just did?
My camera just failed.
Did you remember to resubscribe?
I did before somebody got me, which meant I got to watch an ad for Death Stranding 2, and it actually looked it looked cooler than I thought.
Death Stranding 2 has been like a topic of much conversation recently, and I am fortunate in that it just misses me. Like, none of it has looked particularly interesting to me, which is nice because, Geoff, there are too many games. Like, like, let me be clear. There are the right number of games in the universe, and there are too many games in my life. I can't play all the games, Geoff. I have to sleep and eat and do other things.
We got a nice picture with us today, Will.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do. Well, I figure we're going to, hi, JJ. JJ's here.
Hey, guys.
His camera
my bad. My camera just died. I'm working on getting it fixed.
This is why we go live ahead of time, so that this isn't in the recording for posterity. You were waiting for the stream to go live before gifting Geoff. Your plans have failed. Haha.
I will be right back. Hold on.
Hey, Will, I have a question. Is recording for posterity really just taking pictures of your butt?
No.
That'd be recording off posterity. Okay, never mind.
All right, let's get JJ's frozen face off the screen right now. Hello, everyone. So today, as soon as JJ gets all of this stuff fixed, we're gonna do some stuff. One of the things that we've been talking with JJ about is this CS Mott game day experience room thing, and that is a room for kids to play games in. And so what I want you all to be doing while JJ gets his camera fixed and while we get rolling is, what games were comfort games for you when you were a kid, right? Let's start with that, right? So for me, Spy Fox in dry cereal, right? We got Putt Putt. We got the Humongous Entertainment stuff. We got Jumpstart. We got Backyard Baseball and my man Pablo, right? Who was the all-star of every backyard sports game, by the way. Right? So we'll be thinking about that. I'll be scribing notes so that we'll pass them on to the Mott team once once we're done with this. But that is in fact the plan. Hippie, by the way, thank you so much for gifting a sub to the chat bot. Is appreciated. So now we can
by the way, actually, Will, since we're still starting, we should correct the title in Twitch because Hospital's missing an L.
That means it's also missing an L in YouTube. Because I copied and pasted it out of I think I copied and pasted it out of our doc, and I don't know why it didn't. But you know what? It's fixed now.
Awesome. Can I tell you, by the way, how excited? So while we're waiting for JJ, League of Legends just, they do basically multiple seasons within a year.
Sure.
And they just made two quality of life changes that I'm super excited about.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Missing an L because all we do is win. It's correct. You're just absolutely objectively correct.
That is a good line.
Continue, by the way, Geoff.
Number one is I no longer...
it's invisible!
I can't show my sticky note. This sticky note has 10 champion names written on it. Because part of the way you go through the season pass to get your free stuff, or if you paid to get your free stuff plus your paid stuff, was on Champion Mastery. And they would pick 10 champions for you, and as you got mastery points, you would earn extra prizes.
Okay.
Not all of them would be champions that you played. They specifically were like, champions you played plus some we think you might like. But since you needed to get high grades on them, like you needed to get an S tier grade, what that meant was like 6 of the champions you'd be okay with the season, and 4 you'd be looking at, you're like, I'm never going to get an S tier on a game versus other players with those.
Yeah.
So I'd have a little sticky note so I could remember, okay, I have 4 on Vel'Koz. I don't need any more with him. Now it's time to go get Vigor. And they got rid of that with this patch. It's just like any 10 champions, do it. You're fine. Like the game will just recognize it. So you can just play the people you want as opposed to the people League thinks you want.
Yeah. Okay.
The other one is on ARAM. You know how you would get a reroll or possibly 2? So you'd start ARAM and you have a champion given to you.
Yep.
And You would, if you would get one reroll every X games, or if you had enough champions unlocked, you'd get up to 2 rerolls. They got rid of that. Now you start a game and you get shown 2 champions. You pick one and the other one just goes up for everybody else to grab. So you no longer have to say, hey, people, if you have a reroll, please remember to use it.
Right.
And if you, every once in a while, if you have enough champions unlocked, it'll just show you 3. You select the one, the other 2 automatically go where everybody else can grab them.
Oh, that's cool.
So you no longer have to remind people about that, and there is a better pool of champions to select.
That's a big QOL. All right, JJ, are you with us? Are you muted? I think you're muted.
Did you mute him?
No, I did not. He's not muted, and I checked that. That's the first thing I checked.
But
yeah,
he'll be back.
He will. I think that's like a really cool way to do that, right? I get to tell you about a MOBA thing you might be interested in as well.
Ooh, please.
Yesterday we checked out Crash Punk. Crash Punk? Clash Punk. Starts with a C. Hold on. Core Punk.
Okay.
Core Punk. And it is a game that that is a MOBA, but also an MMO.
MOBA?
Yeah, well, I want to call it an MMOBA, but like that's like pin number, right? So it doesn't quite
MMO?
I want to call it an MMOBA, right? But like it doesn't quite work.
My Shinoba.
Correct. Yeah, Core Punk. There we go. Thanks, chat. My brain is not with that. It's busy trying to make sure that I'm not missing a sign from JJ that he needs help with something. So instead of having RPG equipment slots, you have 6 slots. You have the 6 slots of a MOBA, and when you level up, you level up like you do in a MOBA, and you choose one of the things, and at level 6 you get your ultimate ability, and you only go to level 20, and then after that it's horizontal progression. But you can sort of
Did you reset all?
No, there's a bunch of horizontal progression at the top, and there's another system on top of it, which is like a ranking system. So like you only level up to this, and then you engage in different progression. I haven't gotten to the end. I only got to level 10. Here's the fascinating thing, Geoff. You would think that it would be all about combat or laning or something. No, it's about quests. It has so many quests. Everyone you talk to has a quest. They're like, and of course, the first quest is
rat butts.
Rat butts. It's actually rat butts. It's rat tails. It's go fetch me some rat tails to prove that you have killed enough rats to, they're rats in my grain, kind of thing. And we're gonna play more of it tomorrow. It's very interesting. I don't know that I'm gonna play it long term, but I'm fascinated by it. Especially because it's MMO combat, sort of, but it's really MOBA combat, because one of the most important things you can learn is orb walking. So different weapons you can get and upgrade your character with have different attack delays. So like I found a purple weapon, right? Because they have white, green, blue, purple, and assumedly orange. I haven't seen orange, but I found one with like a super low attack delay, and I just started attack moving everywhere, and it's very cool.
I'm a little curious because in a MOBA, one of the hits you get is you get to level up, say 18 times in a 30 plus minute match.
I can see you. I can't hear you though.
Me?
No.
Oh, JJ. Okay.
JJ. Keep going, Geoff. We're vamping. Wow, I can see JJ on another screen. Just keep vamping.
And so I'm kind of curious, like if they go to level 20 and say you said you hit level 10 in one day, so
right, but it was level 10 at the end of like 5 or 6 hours, right? So it wasn't.
Even say then it takes you another that long to get to 15 and twice that long to get to 20.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is 20 hours in.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Great.
Awesome. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So it takes 20-ish hours to get to level 20.
To max your character out. And that almost makes, like, why don't you just start them out with all their ability? And like, you're going to, if you say most MMOs, you play 1,000 hours, let's just say. Like 20 hours in, you've maxed out your levels, it feels weird. Like progression is a big thing.
Tutorial. I would argue
Okay,
I would argue that it's fundamentally tutorial, that the point of the Rat Butt quest in this case actually has a tutorialization point, which is you are walking in expecting an MMO, but what you're playing is a MOBA, so you need to learn how to play a MOBA. And also how to play, and it's very like crunchy in terms of like bits that are designed for PvP. So like for instance, you don't heal faster outside of combat unless you use an item or a campfire, and like getting you used to all of those weird mechanics and the idea of orb walking and how your gear progresses and what all of the different trade skills are and all of that. That's all part of the overall tutorialization. I would argue that 1 through 20 is their tutorial, and that I would imagine that I get into the real game after that, because I still haven't left the starting town.
Gotcha. So, and Grass is basically saying, similar to how in League, they don't let you play ranked until you're summoner level 30.
Yes, correct. Except your
character. So you won't go embarrass yourself and make all your teammates flame you.
This does also have summoner spells. Like you have the 4 spells for your character. Each character has a special, unique passive that it shares with all of the classes inside that character, and there are 3 of those. And then you also have summoner spells. Like they're straight up like flash, heal, mana, shield.
So they're heavily inspired by League.
And it looks like Warcraft, yes. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. I can't wait to play more. All right, so now that JJ is here with us and we got all the tech problems fixed, this is why we do this early. We're going to do an episode. So we're going to do the thing where we go to black. We're going to come back. We introduce JJ proper. We're going to explain why JJ is here. And then we're going to start talking about what makes a good game for the kids. So chat, I want you to be thinking, again, if you bopped in a little late while Geoff and I were vamping, your goal is to be thinking of games that you enjoyed as a kid, and maybe we're not necessarily going to recommend those games, right? Because like Spy Fox is old, right? Freddy Fish is old. Putt Putt is old. These are old games, right? But the things that they have in common will be useful to us as we talk about the things that make a game right for Mott, right? Cool, great.
And I'm going to come in and say most of what Will just said is going to end up being trash. And I'm going to say that early on for fighting words, because those aren't necessarily games that are good for kids in hospitals. And that's going to be the differentiation point that we get to.
I wholeheartedly disagree, and I will fight you with both fists. All right. All right. So chat, worry not. We're going to black. We're coming back. Be back momentarily.
Oh, that was a good rhyme, Will.
Good time zone internet. Hello and welcome to Design Club, the only game design show on the internet that this week has a special guest star. I am your humble Design Club host, Will, joined as always by my pal Geoff, and this week by our very good friend JJ. Say hi to the people, JJ.
Hi to the people, JJ.
Yes!
Excellent.
He did it! He knows the line. Great. Episode's a success. Everything else is
we're done. Thanks for coming, everybody.
That's it. We're done. It's perfect. So hello, Geoff, to you as well. How are you doing today?
Good. I am excited to be here with JJ. I've known JJ off and on for a while now. As a somewhat regular orbiting around kids charity, or excuse me, myself being someone who kind of orbits somewhat regularly around kids charities that involve video games, because I am fascinated with them and have a good history with them. And JJ and team do some really cool stuff for the CS Mott Hospital. JJ, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is JJ Bouchard. I am a certified child life specialist, a certified rec therapist, and currently my role here at the hospital is I am the manager of our therapeutic gaming and patient technology department. And I work very closely with our patient technology specialists who provide video games and other recreational technology for our kids here in the hospital. They work with our nurses and doctors to integrate that fun recreational technology into their therapeutic practice.
Okay, cool. That's a good bite-sized definition that I think you practiced a lot.
So a couple questions. So first of all, where is CS Mott?
We are in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
And how long have you guys existed or been around roughly?
So our child and family life department, which is the group that like makes all the fun stuff happen in the hospital, they have been around we just celebrated our 100th year. We're the first hospital to have like a playroom in it, like nationally recognized. The patient technology program that I started here started back in 2015. So we're coming on our like 10-year anniversary.
Nice. Nice.
And is your team's goal roughly to keep kids amused while in a hospital? Do you interface with the therapeutic group to aid in their recovery? Like, what is your team's kind of core mission for what they do?
All of the above. It's mostly what the elevator pitch is that we help integrate recreational technology into to help kids reach their therapeutic goals. So we play video games with kids to let them have fun while they're here in the hospital.
Okay. Awesome.
Sounds good.
So that's the general pitch, but something special has happened recently that brings you on this week in specific, because we could have had you on for all kinds of things, for all kinds of reasons, but this week is special. Tell us about the game day experience room.
Yeah, so I am super excited. We, for the last 10 years, have primarily been a bedside program. We have lots of games on carts on wheels and things like that we go bedside to kids. We come right to them, or we work in the smaller playrooms that we have. But we just had our grand opening for what's called the Michigan Game Day Experience. It is an indoor playground, and it's been around for about 10 years, but we just kind of refurbished the space and added a whole gaming center, video game center to the space. So there's it looks like a press box, like if you were at a football stadium, but it also looks like a streaming booth. It's got 4 high-end PCs that are just primed and ready to be loaded with lots of fun games for the kids to play. We've got a few of them on there, like Fortnite and Minecraft, some of their favorites. And then we also have we're calling the gaming lounge, and it's a large space with a 75 square inch TV that is available to patients and families from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's currently got a Nintendo Switch 2 connected to it, and the furniture is all movable and accessible, so we can make space for kids to do fun, more motion-based interactive games, or to allow wheelchairs access to get in there. But we're hoping to do like virtual reality, Just Dance, different type of stuff like that. We can also do like tailgate parties and movie watches and stuff in there. But that's what I'm super excited about. What I tell people is imagine Chuck E. Cheese without the rat or the pizza, and it's much cleaner.
Yeah. It's not hard to imagine a space that's cleaner than Chuck E. Cheese, to be fair. It did inspire an entire genre of horror. So, there's that. Okay, so we've got a gaming space. I like, by the way, that you totally snuck it's a press box, because Michigan's big on football, right?
Oh,
yeah. So it's a football press box, but really it looks just like a streaming setup for esports. It's an esports room. It looks like an esports setup for 4 people. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Before the revamp, it was supposed to be a press box, but it's just like wood that held up. It looked cool, but we were like, man, we could make that like way cooler. And luckily, everyone was like, yeah, well, let's go with the press box. We'll just put nicer computers in it.
Sure. You guys need to figure out a way to get a 5th in there. Then you can field a professional league team.
No,
or an amateur league team.
No. We're here to contribute to kids' recovery. League is right off the menu. You call no, wrong, incorrect. Cease and desist. All right, thank you. We want kids to leave better, not needing blood pressure medication. So
the room is the room done? Is it is it launching soon? When is the room ready?
We had our grand opening last Thursday, but the way we designed it was so that it is always changing, always evolving, and because tech is always evolving, and that was a big point for us, was that we wanted to be able to adjust and adapt to whatever the new tech is and to the new ideas that we're having. So that was a big part. So yes, it is done, but it's also we're in our first week and we're still learning like how the kids are using the space, how we're using the space, how our nurses, doctors, and physical therapists are using the space.
Actually, that walked very nicely into the next question I had, which is, who's the target audience for the room, or who uses it? Both the kids and the staff. Can we learn a little about them?
Yeah, so that's the best part about the room that makes it so different from everything else in the hospital, is that it is really meant for everybody in the hospital to utilize. It's primarily always been a space for both inpatient and outpatient kids to come, but also it's a place for their siblings and families to come while they're waiting for kids who are going through procedures. Or we get a lot of families who are coming to visit a baby in our NICU, our needle intensive care unit, and they come to say hi to mom and baby, but then there's nowhere for them to go. And so a lot of them will come and basically spend the day there, almost like they're like going to a picnic at the playground or at the park or something like that. So we have a wide variety of people with different abilities and different reasons. It's also a great space for our physical therapists and our occupational therapists to get kids to go to. One, either just to get out of bed and move, but then also because it's such a big space. Like we have a hopscotch there, we have a Foursquare there, we have a basketball hoop there.
Oh, wow.
And then again, we want to integrate all our fun technology. So you can play Pokemon Go there. You can do virtual reality exercises down there.
Have you got a gym registered in there yet?
We're working on it.
Okay.
You could.
And we have a wheelchair swing too. We have a wheelchair swing down there.
I'm at Pokemon Gym. There's a way to submit an area through Pokemon Go.
I think it might be. We have a lot of gyms registered. Like when Pokemon Go just opened up, we had a lot of spots there, and our gym might already be a part of it. I'll have to go back and look.
I was just curious because like one of the downsides to Pokemon Go is you have to move around. So hopefully there's a couple that the room touches. Otherwise, you're going to be taunting those poor children.
One of the really cool things, and this might help fuel for what we're going to do later, is a lot of our nurses, doctors, and even families, they know how much people love Pokemon Go here. So they're constantly like using lures and just like throwing stuff out there to attract Pokemon to the hospital. So kids are still getting up and doing stuff, but they don't necessarily always have to like leave their room if they can. But then we have a statue of Big Bird that everybody goes to, and that is a gym. Like kids go there to battle and stuff.
That's really cool. I'll throw down at Big Bird.
That's right. I'm meeting you at Big Bird at 12 noon. Let's go.
Get to show up with your Pokemon and do the flex and do
it. Right. Yeah. It's great. Okay.
Okay, so
it's
that's
two kids with their phones. Ready, partner, draw. Anyway. Okay.
So big room, some video games, some physical activities. Everybody from families coming in to visit to kids who are actually in the hospital, their families, physical therapists, doctors. And so one of my next questions you kind of already answered, but how long is your average person there? And the reason I say this is for kind of game recommendations. If it's people coming in for the day, something like Mario Kart is good. If you're dealing with a kid who's going to be in the hospital for a month, then you start talking about you could do a game like one of the recent Zelda games or something that, you know, the kid wants to come back every day to kind of continue along. But also then there's the question of how much hardware. If there's one Switch, you're looking for community games people can play. If you had like 15 Switches in there, you know, Johnny can come back and continue exploring through Hyrule.
Yep. And I'm going to throw a couple curveballs at you on that one too. So our kids in general, like I said, we have what are some like lovingly known as frequent flyers. So those are the kids who probably visit 2 or 3 times a week because they have a clinic appointment, and then they'll come afterwards and hang out with us. And so those kids will typically stay for like an hour or so. We have our kids who basically live here for anywhere from like a week to a month to some for a year or more. So we definitely have those kids who are here for a long time and have their like, that's my game, that's my spot, that's where I want to go. But I'd say the typical folks who are coming down to the space is a good mix of both. Now, the curveball I'm going to send to you guys is we can't keep any patient identifiers on our systems. So no kid can create their own account with their own name on it in any way, shape, or form. The other tricky part is that we deep freeze our computers and reset them every day. So our PCs, whatever was put on there, the day it was played, the next morning, it's all wiped and reset so that, again, we're not giving away any patient information. Or if we have a lot of settings on there to keep them from being able to see things on the internet they shouldn't see, but you know, kids are sneaky and smarter than adults, so we try to reset that every day and make sure the computers are clean and safe. Yep. So those are two things that are
regression.
Yeah, those are two challenges that we come across every day. Is these are systems that are designed to be very personal, and we have to figure out a way to make it like an arcade system. And we do have some checks and balances. So one thing you guys should know is that for every one of our accounts every one of our PCs has an account that is identified as like Mott 1 or Mott 2, Mott 3, and that is consistent. That's the same thing with our Steam accounts and our Xbox accounts.
Okay.
And so you could, for example, if not that we're going to say Monster Train is a game to play, but for example, if we said Monster Train is a game to play, you could have somebody play up enough to unlock all the clans and et cetera, and then that save version would be the one that it got reset to every day.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
And we do have some consoles too we have ones that we take bedside and that are patient technology specialists who work every day with those kids. If we know a kid's going to be here for a year, we'll like create a little like save thing for them. And then in our big 75 square inch TV, we usually have the Nintendo Switch 2 like is the default system there, but we can also swap out systems depending on if we know someone's coming and wants to do PlayStation VR or wants to play Monster Hunter or something like that. We know they're age appropriate. We can swap that out too.
That's very good.
Gotcha.
And Monster Hunter is weirdly age appropriate. And now that I think about it, right? Because it's all like big scary monsters. But when you get hurt, you just get knocked down and that's it. Like the worst thing that happens to you is you fall over and faint and have to go back to camp. That's actually pretty good.
And I don't know, like I think a little side bucket for us too, as we're talking, is we are going to open a teen room, like a room for teenagers and young adults, like 13 to 26. That's completely separate from this, that it's just a space for teenagers to hang out with. So as we're talking, if there's a game that we're like, that might not be appropriate for all ages, but that might be something I save for later for this space, this new space as well.
Okay.
But just so I know, you were saying though that like Mott 1 might be connected to Mott 1's Steam account. So does that mean that cloud saves would work? In other words, if I'm playing a game, the 6 hours I play on that game, if it's cloud saved to Steam, I'd still have that the next day because it's connected to Mott 1 on Steam.
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
And like we use that for like Fortnite. So each account, like that's actually some of the fun stuff that we do with the kids is we're like, hey, see if you can unlock everything for the next kid because they would love it and they'll never be able to be as good as you. But then we also have to balance that with like, again, Fortnite. If we're at a really high level, it might be really frustrating for a new kid joining Fortnite to be like, they're not playing against bots, they're playing against sweats. So just being mindful of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that is an interesting balance. Like that works better for like single player strategy games where things are unlocked so people have choices rather than competitive online shooter.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I was kind of curious because that all of this informs the kind of games that get recommended. And that's a lot of detail that I think people don't always think of necessarily, even like basic things like session length or, how long is a kid there?
Yeah, it's been the biggest challenge for us since I started. When I started, we the reason my job got started was we put Xbox 360s in every room, and so I had a whole like library of discs that I had, and I could like say, oh, you're a teenager, you can select from here, and we put it in, and then it's out, and we delete everything. But now that everything's so personalized, it's really like upped the challenge of how do we make this stuff all work in the hospital, and everything's digital, which is good and bad for the different reasons.
And kind of final one is, what are kind of the average health or impairment factors to consider? Like, do most of your kids have full mobility for their hands? Do you have a lot of kids coming in that are on serious drug regimens and therefore are kind of have impaired cognition?
Yeah,
and again, I'm sure it's a range, but
it is quite a range. I'd say that the majority of the kids who are coming down to the space right now have pretty good mobility, but they get tired very easily. And like you said, a lot of them are on like a lot of different drug regimens that give them different levels of cognition depending on when they're at. The space is designed to be adaptable. Like a lot of kids come down in wheelchairs, not necessarily because they need it all the time, but just because they're tired or they're trying to. A part of the goal is to get them moving, get them up and standing, but they will get too tired before they can get back to their room. So, but there are kids who have issues with like with different limbs and mobility issues with like spinal cord injuries and things like that. So we work to adapt the space for them as well.
So even basic things like an IV hookup, like a wheelchair makes it easier to kind of wheel that around behind them so they don't walk too far ahead and yank it. And
yeah, and that's the other thing is some people think, oh, the kids have an IV in their hand, so they can't play Just Dance, or they can't, and that's not actually true. Like, so in fact, we encourage them to do it. We just have to, as professionals, have to keep an eye on them and make sure they're not running away from their IV. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got a range of considerations. Something else we wanted to kind of talk about is what was the game selection process before this? Like, was it like, what have you historically used to pick games that are going to be in your program, in your space that you're going to use?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think most of it is our own preferences, like from what we've done as kids and as adults and working with kids. So it was pretty much, I mean, when it started, it was me just asking the kids, hey, what's fun today? Like, that's how I learned Minecraft. That's how I learned Roblox, although we don't allow Roblox, and we'll get into that later. Yeah, or things like we've had lots of discussions about Fortnite because it is a shooter and we are a public space for children. You know, do we allow it? Don't we allow it? Why or why not? So the ESRB ratings are a big factor into what we do, and then another big one is what you guys were saying before is like, what is the time factor? You know, like, are the kids coming into play, or are we using this as a distraction or a therapeutic tool? But like deep dive menus are usually not great. A game that takes 30 minutes just to get into, it's not great for most spaces, but if we know the kid's going to be sitting there for 9 hours waiting and hungry and waiting for something and needs a good distraction, then maybe we throw them into Zelda. Maybe we throw them into, The Last of Us, not in the space, but we've done that before. It just depends on them.
It's a really interesting to think about. I actually have, so some of my history with it is back when I used to run EDAR, which is my video game research studio. We ended up partnering with Child's Play, the charity.
Yeah, we work with them a lot. Yeah,
because I knew Robert Koo, who was running the business, as well as Mike and Jerry. One time I pitched them, since we were doing research. I'm like, hey, how do you guys pick your games? And Robert was just like, we pick games. And I said, hey, do you want us to do some research on it? And so we ended up with my research studio writing this huge hierarchy. And because we looked at every game that came out, we would fill out all this information that could then be used for selection criteria. And I know they used to do it as a physical pamphlet, and now they just post it online. But some of the categories we'd selected were symptom dependent, but condition agnostic. In other words, we weren't like, you're in for a broken arm, or you're in because you have pneumonia. We had categories like pain, boredom, short-term, boredom, long-term, anxiety, sadness, or cognitive impairment. So a doctor could come in, or a nurse could look at the flip book and be like, this kid is heavily drugged up and is 10. So cognitive impairment, age category, what are 6 games that might be good for them? Or, pain. What's a good game that engages you so much that it distracts you from the pain? So we kind of oriented it around symptoms like that. And even though I sold the company years ago, I believe it's still up and running. They're still updating. And so there's different ways of approaching how you pick the kinds of games. And for them, they don't have the big room because they're kind of just giving stacks of games to different hospitals. And so they needed a flip book because they also don't have experts in like you guys who can look at a game. They needed to be able to have any nurse or any doctor look at a kid and say, what is a reasonable game to give them? Because they specifically didn't have specialists in the hospital who knew about things or were even proficient with computers and technology.
Yeah. And we've used that.
Huge advantage.
We've used that actually, because it is a very quick, easy way to say, hey, these are some, we give them to parents who are like, what other games would be good for my kid? And we're like, well, take a look at this. Because that is a really great resource. And it's funny because, like you said, that's all the stuff that we just do in our heads. And then to see somebody actually write it out loud on paper is really nice.
That was one of the things I'm proudest about of just helping was, getting a chance to actually think on that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons I'm so excited to talk to you guys, is because you're coming in with the subject matter expertise where we were trying to write this for somebody that had none.
Yeah.
And that's just a big difference.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So let's make this a little easier. Let's pull in another screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got some notes here, chat. So this is engagement. Rocky, if you're watching later on Nebula, we're making the most of our friends over in Twitch chat and YouTube chat to help us fill out a list that I'm going to be scribing down and giving to JJ later. So generally speaking, what makes games good for Mott? So we've got a couple of factors, right? Let's just go over this real quick. Computers get reset daily back to a state. That state does not have to be 0 in every game, but it means that personal progression won't carry over. Can't have personal identifying information. That means no named save files, for instance, right? Cloud saves might be possible. That's sort of on a case-by-case basis. Ratings. E for everyone's great. Some T stuff, I would imagine. M's are like a rarity and need to be like that thing that we're like, why is this actually M? Kind of thing. We will take recommendations for those and we'll stick them in the teen to adult room. And again, even there, they need some amount of discussion, right? Because these are, we want the most. It's not, I would imagine, a great feeling to have a big locked box full of all of the M games that kids want to play and can't. So it's better to just not have them.
Well,
than
there's also a political issue there. Like if a parent wanders in and sees a kid playing a mature game, somebody like JJ has to explain why.
Yep.
Where if it's a teen game or below, that's just an extra conversation you don't have to have.
Correct.
Because different parents have different things that they're happy to or not to expose their kids to.
Correct. And as chat is pointing out, we do need to even consider content within, because a reminder that Final Fantasy XIV is rated T and shouldn't be. The ratings are wrong sometimes, and we do need to consider that content, right? Because
it's T for online play.
Thanks to remember
it shouldn't be lower, it should be higher.
Like a big one that came up for us was It Takes Two. Is an incredible game. It's so much fun to play together, but it does talk about divorce. And so some of our kids, we have to be aware of like the game content. So we joke, it's like our homework to play games. And I take a lot of games home and have my kids try them and see how they play them and what their reactions are. But that is the kind of stuff, like if you're suggesting games, maybe give us a heads up. If like, hey, you might want to play this one till the end, or even Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man's amazing, but they drop some swears, not hard swears, but some swears that some parents wouldn't be appreciative of. And it's just like in the background while you're swinging, like, hey, what the, So if you're aware of that kind of stuff, like that's helpful to know for when we're playing, because we could have a kid playing Spider-Man with headphones on and it'd be no problem, but if it's loud on the big screen TV and everyone can see it, then it might be an issue.
Spider-Man, what the F are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Split Fiction is not a good game. If you haven't finished the game, you don't know why, but I'll tell you for freezies that Split Fiction is definitely not a game that goes on this list. And you can finish the game yourself and find out why. I watched an excellent playthrough with Alchemy, and Jen is online, and I can tell you for free, not on this list.
I had a great conversation with my daughter about that because we played that together. It was the last game we played together, which we loved, but it led to a really good conversation after that.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got E for everyone, some T stuff, platforms. What we're primarily looking for today, it sounds like, is we're looking for computer stuff, right? PC/Steam. And then we also have, how much mobile are we talking about? Like, are we looking for mobile stuff, or do you have mobile covered? Like, what's that?
I would say more we're looking for like console stuff.
Okay.
Like you think PlayStation 5, Switch 1 and 2, because we still use the Switch a lot.
Okay, so Switch
and
1, 2, PS5, Xbox 1.
Yeah, no, or Xbox Series, whatever they are these days. I can't keep track anymore. I mean, we have pretty much everything. Okay. So I'd even take if you know a really good iPad app. Child's Play Charity supported. We have a huge iPad library that we lend out to kids. So if anybody happens to know any good iPad apps, we'd be up for that too.
Okay, cool. So chat, that's sort of our that we have set the stage. We've set the stage. Begin the recommendationing. I have one that I will start with, and I will be absolutely gobsmacked if you don't have it already. Y'all got Rocket League, right?
We do.
Okay, good.
That is a favorite.
But let's talk about Rocket League as a like an example, right? Rocket League is a game that has so many different skill thresholds, right? You can have two kids just messing around with a ball. You can have, as they get better, right? There's access to more difficult computers and to play online, right? It's totally clean. It's a fun game that anyone can play. Teens love it, adults love it, kids love it. It's a great example of like the kind of thing I think we're talking about, right? So I'm really glad to hear that you already have Rocket League as that
Actually, Will, are you going to start making a list of things as we mention them?
I have a list. It's off screen because there's not enough screen real estate, but I have it. I can I'm going to describe, but I can also share it with you.
I'm going to throw in what I think is the most obvious of all of them, since we've talked about Switch and other things. Mario Kart 8, and for the Switch 2, the new Mario Kart. Like Mario Kart feels like one of those games that, again, everybody can play. You can play as a group. There's no you don't need progression, and you can do short or long, like a short set of matches or long. JJ, is that a game that fits well? Or
Mario Kart is the most played game in our hospital by like thousands and thousands of hours, and for all of the reasons you said, and that's a really good example. Both of those are great examples. They get everyone together, and those are the kind of games that get people watching. That's the other thing I'm kind of going for is like, you guys are old enough to remember arcades where everyone would just stand around the case and yell at each other while we're playing Street Fighter or X-Men or something like that. That's the vibe we're going for, and those two games get parents yelling at the screen, and that's what we really want. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, those are great examples.
So we've got a question about speech apps for kids who are nonverbal. Maybe that's not necessarily in scope for what we're talking about, but like if we have games that might assist in particular therapeutic endeavors, that might be a thing that we can also talk about. Like, we want this kid to get moving. Just Dance, right? Yeah. Like, to the extent that they're able and comfortable, Just Dance is probably great for that, right? Especially because it doesn't have the DDR pad problem. DDR pads are, you can't do DDR pad in a hospital. You can't.
Just Dance is one that we use. The struggle we sometimes have is that it does need internet connection, and so we have to like constantly update it. But it is a really fun one. The good thing about Just Dance 2 is that like if it's with Switch, you don't necessarily have to be standing up to play because you could just move your arms to it. So those are that's a great one.
Okay. Let's see.
Mario, for some reason I'm not able to
I saw. I'm fixing it.
Okay. We had a question from Dark Wolf. Are there any Rock Band or Guitar Hero? Do you guys have kind of the hardware set for that?
You know, when I first started working here back in like 2005, that was the game. We had kids who were amazing with Rock Band, but all that stuff is kind of gone now. We don't have the systems to make it work. I keep hoping it comes back. So if you guys have any recommendations of where I can get it, or if there's new versions.
At this point, it's like eBay and garage sales, and there's some third-party groups that make it. But one of the things actually I learned at the tail end of working, running my research studio was the game sold a lot, but retailers also kind of had a love-hate relationship with them because the instrument packs were so large that, you could put 100 games, little boxes on the shelf for every one like Guitar Band or Rock Band package. And so there was kind of this constant issue of shelf space for stacking the peripherals on.
We had when I was an intern here back in like 2005 or something, we had a full Rock Band set up so that kids could go and play the whole thing. It was in one of our playrooms, but it took up like a whole section of the space, and that's all gone now. But I've really been trying to find something equivalent to that. So yeah, if anybody has those recommendations,
there's a couple of there are some on PCs. Chat, I will tell you that those are not great the Clone Hero, it works and is not a great suggestion because it's a hospital with corporate lawyers. Clone Hero.
True.
Clone Hero is in the gray zone at absolute best. So like, and in the same way, right? Like, okay, if we talk about Beat Saber, right, for VR stuff, right? Beat Saber's good.
We use that a lot.
It gets your arms moving, right? When we say Beat Saber, we mean out of the box Beat Saber not the Beat Saber that you're probably playing, like when I play it, which is modded from high heaven to low hell, because again, that's a legal gray area, right? We need to be squeaky clean out of the box. Everything is entirely unambiguously above board, right?
Yep.
Not, we could mod it and it's probably okay kind of stuff, right? Just so that we're all on the same page, right? Because those are good suggestions if we don't have that caveat, and we should put that caveat in.
That is an excellent caveat, because hospitals don't want to get sued.
Yeah, correct.
They have better things to do with their time.
Yeah.
We've had some very passionate mothers and fathers who are like, yeah, I could totally mod this and clone this and make this and give you guys this thing with everything. And we've had to, like you guys have said, like, la, 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 I can hear you say that.
Right. Okay, so Trackmania is sort of the grown-up. Okay, great, excellent. Trackmania was an excellent suggestion. It is an online game, but it can be done asynchronously online. That is to say, you're racing against other people's high scores. Imagine Mario Kart, but as a Formula One sort of physics-defying racer. It's like a little live service. It's got some stuff on it. Trackmania might be something to look into.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of the chat features you can rip out, because there is chat, and that is a concern. Right. But I imagine that there might be a way to do that where you can make it safe. So I've got Trackmania on the list.
And that would be on Steam?
That would be on Steam, yes.
Okay, cool. We'll check that out.
Actually, though I'm not a big fan, since we're mentioning racing games, Forza 5 and Gran Turismo 7 are both just games that, if you like that kind of thing, are best in class and have literally infinite gameplay.
Right. Like if you have kids that are super big into cars, right? Like neither Geoff or I don't know if anyone in chat knew this. Neither Geoff or I exactly giant gearheads, right? Yeah. We're not like up to our elbows in engine grease. I would much rather be up to my elbows in my computer. But if you have kids that are, and there are some kids that are, those are good. Yeah.
And that's the kind of, one of the things that like I love is there's kind of this certain level of like, hey, game is good in this category, and there's always kind of the best in class examples. Best in class, you even get people who don't like that kind of thing that usually enjoy those kinds of games.
Yeah, and those are the best experiences we have. Like there are so many game genres that I personally never thought I'd enjoy until a kid in the hospital introduced me to it, and I had to learn it to help him or her, and then they like ended up teaching everyone in the playroom. So any of the like those little niche games that maybe like like you guys said, like we've never heard of, I think kids also just love the idea that they're testing the game for the first time, or they can show another kid those games.
If you're looking for best in class, Will likes this little game I don't like a lot, or have never really heard of, called Shovel Knight. That
I've never talked about Shovel Knight, but Shovel Knight is good. Shovel Knight is definitely on the list. It's an old school platformer. And instead of a sword, our brave emboldened hero uses a shovel. So it's about like digging for treasure and pogoing off of things, and Shovel Knight's very good. Chat has suggested Tricky Towers, which is a multiplayer wall-less Tetris. And
we just discovered that, and kids love it. That's a great one. Yes, thank you for that reminder, because we haven't put it in game day. We've used it at bedside, but I forgot about that. So thank you for that reminder. That's a good one.
Well, let's see. People are talking about
like Overwatch too much, or is it, or Overwatch 2?
We definitely have kids who request it. It would be one I think we would tuck away on our PC. So like this is an interesting design idea. So when the guys set up all the PCs, they had it set up the way you'd think your PC would look like, with all the games down the side in these little tiny boxes. And I said, I want you guys to hide all those games and just put the 4 most popular ones in really big boxes across the way an iPad is set up. And
that's a good idea.
And Dylan and Andrew were a little irked by that, because they're PC guys, and they were like, what? No, the kids aren't going to like that. And I was like, yeah, but they're not. Most of the kids we're introducing to this place are not gamers, like PC gamers. They're like iPad gamers, and we're introducing them to the PC. And also the staff who are supporting that area when we're not there are
Yeah.
not used to that. So we wanted to make it as accessible, like 2 clicks and you're in the game as possible, and then hide all these other games down low so that when us like super nerdy know all that stuff are there, that's there. So that's another kind of aspect of design, just to like.
And of course, an arbitrary thing, like if you ended up with like 6 really good PC ones, it could be 6. Like you're just saying, you're limiting the selection to the things you are think they are most likely to enjoy, and that will give you the least amount of problems.
Right. Well, it's more just like, okay, these are the 4 games we know kids are gonna play, and as we get more recommended, like you said, we'll put 4 or 5 or 6. We probably wouldn't go above 6, and if we notice one's not getting played a lot, we'd rotate that out. Or maybe we want kids to try a new game. Like, let's say like Turkey Towers is one that we know no one's ever heard of this, but they might really enjoy it. So if we put it on there, they might click on it and try it out.
You're doing a lot of VCR design here, right? Which is something that we've talked about in the past, right? Where you make the big friendly buttons out front, and there are more buttons, and you can do other things with it, but you don't need to do them all the time. You just put the things in front.
Because then you get that choice paralysis that we've noticed that with our iPads. Like when we put too many things on there, the kids are like, and they just like, it's like Netflix just scrolling and you never actually watch the show.
Can I suggest a really stupid hack? But make a background image, like put it there and be like core games icon, and then you could put the 4 icons there. It's like game of the week, like. For the picture, throw the other icon. In other words,
of the thing,
you could actually just make a background picture that you load on as the desktop background. So it's like that has however you want to box it or something. So it literally is written on the screen for the kids, like most loved games or something. You have 4 icons sitting right above that.
Yeah.
And I say game of the week or whatever else you want, like, cool new game. It's in its own like box, where you've just like 60% of the screen is black with the letters, 40% has, 1 or 2 says game of the week, whatever. But that'd be a super easy thing to make. And it would also direct the kids too, because they'd look at it, they'd see the most loved games or whatever you want to call it with the icons, like fun things to kind of just hack your way through.
That's a cool idea. And that's another thing we've been trying to be like this. What are we going to do with the background? Right now, our background is literally the 4 icons and then the name of the user for that computer. Because that was something we learned right away. We all started playing and we all tried to play Fortnite together, and then we didn't know which account we had.
That's a really good, that's really
so we put the account name on each computer. So this is like Mott 1, Mott 2.
Keep going, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. Chat has other suggestions. Chat, I'm taking them down as I get them. Any of the Lego games, any of the Lego adventure games, right? Because you can. I believe there's a code to unlock all the levels, which you could put in ahead of time, and then you've got your Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, DC, whatever, right?
Yeah,
Lego.
yeah. Those are great suggestions. Is there one right now that people are like, that's the game? I used to use like DC Heroes a long time ago, and Star Wars I used a long time ago, but I'm not sure what the most
Skywalker Saga, I think, is the most recent one I've played, and it's all 9 movies of Lego.
Oh, nice.
So that might work. Mini Metro.
I've never heard of that one.
Okay, great. I'll do chat. By the way, if I can't succinctly elevator pitch it, I am going to look up all of these games and get JJ links to places he can find them when we're done here. So if we like allied an explanation of your game, that doesn't mean it's not on the list. It means I'm going to do a little more research and put it out there. Splatoon. Splatoon. Lots of fun painting colors, put stuff everywhere. Okay. Are you familiar with a game called Crypt of the Necro Dancer?
That is my favorite game. I love that game.
Excellent. Crypt of the Necro Dancer.
Check.
Check. People were also talking in that same vein about Hi-Fi Rush, which is a beat-based sort of action beat 'em up, but you're fighting robots. So you're good on that count. And you're.
Can I ask a question? So I'm familiar with the game, but I have not played it. Is it frustrating if you can't stay on the beat?
You can turn that bit off.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I know kids would really enjoy that challenge, but then also get really frustrated.
That's been a big question in accessibility circles: is how how tight timing can be before it's an accessibility hurdle. For instance, it is not on the recommendation list. I'm using it as an example, chat, before anyone like gets a nosebleed. One of the games that is slated to be the game of the year, Clair Obscur, is a turn-based game, but it has very tight timing windows for parries and like quick time events while stuff's happening on screen, and that's caused a big discussion about accessibility, like how tight the timing can be before it starts to become a problem for people with slower reflexes, people who don't want to play QTEs, that kind of thing. So
Claire, just I guess for the chat to know, like Clair Obscur is a perfect example of a game that I wouldn't put in this space, but I would use it for like a teen who I know is going to be here for a long time, who can stay within those like, because that's something that they could really just sink their teeth into, and we would get them their own system for that, or we might put that in our teen room and just let the teens know, hey, we're all working together on this game. But because it's a story driven game with like really interesting stuff that could really help someone who's going to be here for a long time. So just for everyone's awareness, like we would still use a game like that, just maybe not in that space.
And it's funny because you get games like that. Some of my favorite games are high learning curve games like Civ 5, Civ 6, Slay the Spire, Monster Train. They're games that you learn by playing a whole bunch and you get better and better at them because you play. But those are also some of the hardest ones to put in a space like this, because somebody who's never played a Civ game is sitting down, starting a 4X game like Civ, they're just going to be lost. The same with something like Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is amazing, but you're also going to die like on floor 4 the first time because you don't know what's going on and slowly get better. So it's interesting that like some of my favorite games for this are also not good like pickup games. Games of mastery are hard to put in a place like this.
That was a big learning curve for my team when they first started working here, is because they love like Zelda, all these deep games. And I'm like, you can't play that for 20 minutes.
Final Fantasy 14 with half of your team, I think. So like, I'm familiar.
Yeah, but what's great too is that because they have that knowledge, when we do get those kids who don't know or who are here for a long time, they introduce them to something that becomes their new passion. And like we've got kids who are now like developing their own kids. They're like teens, almost adults, who are developing their own Twitch stream now because they got so into Final Fantasy, watching you guys play on Twitch sometimes, that's awesome.
Let's see. Chat's all suggesting Peglin. Peglin's a good one. It's on pretty much.
What's that one?
Peglin's an older game. It's sort of a brick breaker game, except it's gravity based. So like, in like some of the brick breaker games where you have like the paddle and you bounce it back and forth. This is you shoot it from the top down, and it's big and brightly colored, and it's got and you're trying to destroy all the orange blocks or pegs, and it's kind of puzzly. It's not terribly long and tolerates being reset pretty well because you're just playing like the same, I think, dozen levels or so. It's relatively cheap.
Cool. Is it on all consoles or Steam?
I believe it's on Steam. I think it should be on Steam. It might also be on mobile, which is also good. Mario Wonder.
Go ahead, sorry.
Mario Wonder, also, if you don't have it already, is the very playful, has like relaxed time limit kind of thing for the latest 2D Mario side scroller, which is good. And people were also suggesting Odyssey as like a longer form thing, right? Because Odyssey, like if you had to reset it every time, you'd never get very far. But I suppose like if it's a different kid, it doesn't super matter.
Odyssey and Wonder. So again, if you're thinking in that line, those are the kind of games that we would, if we had a kid who like they came and said, I'm waiting, my brother's in surgery all day and I'm just going to be here for 6 hours and I want something fun to do. Like, I think we would like just throw a game like that in. Wonder is one of those games where when we put on the big screen TV, we never like, it might be fun and everybody gets along, or all the kids start fighting because they're knocking each other off. Like, it's one of those we gotta pay a little more attention to. But games in that vein too. That's the other thing we're looking for is like, if you're like, oh, Mario's great, but here's something like Rayman or another game that's of that genre that no one's played. Those are things that we're trying to introduce to kids too. So if you got any good suggestions there.
Actually, I have a question, and this is an I don't know. Would a game like Monument Valley, which is an iPad game, is that a good game for this kind of thing?
That's a wonderful game.
Okay.
It's a wonderful game for our iPads. We have them on our iPads, but I would love to see can you get that on Steam or something? Like, I'd love to see that on our big screen TV.
I think because of the way they integrated touch in.
Yeah.
But I know there's a Monument Valley 2, I think, at this point as well.
There's a 3 too.
Oh, okay. But yeah, just I remember showing that to my niece and nephew as like intro games in and like working through the puzzles with them and watching them do it. And that actually kind of converted my sister to letting my nephew and niece play video games. Like I was like, that's as much of an art piece as it is. Yeah. But again, I was just kind of curious if that made a good pickup game.
No, that genre is also really great for like, if we're just trying to like a chill sesh, like cozy games are also like I'm always up for cozy games.
We've got 2 very easy pitches in that vein then. Journey and Flower, both of which are by that game company. They're what I would call gallery games. Monument Valley is also in that. Very minimal UI, very much about the feeling and the expansive thing. Not terribly difficult, but rewarding when like you get the cool moment.
Perfect.
So, and I would say that Journey and Flower are like, if we ever had to have the argument that video games were art and all video games are art, like that's easy, right? If I have to put forward an example, Journey's like at the top of that list of like, of a moving
if you like
thing.
Monument Valley on just you're like, wow, this is just a nice piece than the way it's done. Journey hits that same vibe.
Yep. Yes, chat. Abzu's very good.
Abzu?
Abzu is another. It's an underwater game, so kids with thalassophobia probably not. But it's another one of those very gentle, sort of lots of like light music, lots of swimming with manta rays, lots of like kelp puzzles and floating around. No real time pressure kind of games.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay, and that's Steam?
Yes. Most of the I will tell you where you can find some of these because some of them I'm not sure on. I will have I'm gonna go chat. I like JJ and everything they're doing so much. I'm gonna find links to all of these, and I will when I send you the doc, it'll have a link to every single one of these where you can get it.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Chat's got not Gris. Gris is too heavy. Gris is about grieving and loss and death. No, It's beautiful. It's great. Yeah. Remember, we're pitching games for kids in a hospital. So I saw someone mention Persona.
That cancer dragon.
Right, yeah. We're not doing that dragon cancer.
No hate on that game, but that is not one that I...
Sorry, I'm being...
Yeah.
Untitled Goose Game?
That's a favorite. We use that one a lot. Okay. That's a great one.
Goose Game is good. Unpacking. Ooh, that might go over kids' heads, but I think that would be okay. I
think that might be a good one for the teen room.
I think it is too. It's one of the only games that's made me cry in 2 hours without saying a word. It is a phenomenal piece of art. I saw another one that was really good. What was it? Oh God, no. I had it in my head. A Little to the Left.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
It's an unconventional puzzle game with multiple solutions to every puzzle, and it's about organizing household objects. So, for instance, if you have a collection of pencils, the pencils might be different lengths, and you can either arrange them into groups based on characteristics about the pencils or by length. And both of those are valid solutions, and you get points for finding both of them. And it's very calm. And like, there's one where you organize a junk drawer. It's very easy. It's on Switch and PC. And it has DLC, and they're coming out with like daily challenge levels. A Little to the Left, phenomenal. Absolutely.
I know 5 kids right now. Actually, I should say I know 5 teens right now who would love that game. Then that could go in either space. I love it. I'm gonna try that one. That's awesome. Good pitches, guys.
Chat, you all are batting 1,000 here. Pico Park is a simple, lightweight co-op party platformer. Pico Park is a little hard, but I think for like a teen room or like a night where the other problem is it really needs 8 and they only have 4 devices that can connect together. But Pico Park might make the list.
So, here's another cool thing we do, though, because we're not the only hospital who does this. We're the only one with this cool playroom. But there are people like me at other hospitals all over the country. Child's Play actually helps connect us all. And we do something on Fridays called Fall Guy Fridays, where kids from hospitals all over the country play Fall Guys together. And so something like Pico Park, we might have like a Pico... I'm trying to think of another... Pico Tuesdays. I don't know, like a fun
Pico
thing
de
where
Gallo
we
Tuesdays.
join-
Wait, no, we're already there.
we go.
Um,
Yeah, so those kind of games are on the table. Like we could potentially like team up with another hospital or play
2
with
picos
friends.
enter, 1 pico leaves.
That's cool. That's a good. Okay.
Yeah, multiple people have suggested Katamari Damacy. If
That's the one with the like rolling around.
yeah, it's the one with
picking up stuff.
you are the prince of the stars, and you have to roll
Yes.
things up to make planets, and it's very silly.
That's a tricky one actually for a hospital. There's some, just like some books, like I remember reading Zelensky's 9 Princes in Amber when I was like 12 with a fever, like reading through my mom's sci-fi and fantasy collection, and it sticks in my head as this weird fever dream. Katamari Damacy, for a kid who's coming in with a little like drugged up or some cognitive impairment, it's weird.
Yeah,
Like,
it is
it's
extra.
cool,
It's
but
surreal.
it's straight up weird.
Yeah. What the Golf is another good one, although that one could be a little rage inducing. What the Golf is, you're playing golf. Promise.
Yeah.
It's all golf.
It's
The
all
goal of every
golf.
level is to
Nothing-
get a thing that could be called the ball into a thing that could be called the hole using a thing that could be called the golf club.
Oh, now I'm very interested.
And it
That would be a
stops
fun
being
party night
very
game.
sensible very early on. Yeah, it's technically golf.
And would this be like? Is it multiplayer?
No, this one's kind of like a solo thing. There is
Okay.
golf with friends, which I believe
Yes,
that's
I know that we like that one.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
good one.
Well, Matt's favorite, Walkabout Golf, which is VR.
that. Yeah.
VR.
Oh
putting
yeah,
golf.
VR is on the table too. So if you guys have good VR suggestions, we're looking for those.
Catan VR, in my opinion, is one of the best
The-
VR games that has ever been made.
He
I
made
love
Catan
Catan.
VR.
I love
Okay, great.
Catan.
We'll put that.
Sorry, that was the last game I devved before joining Extra Credits and Extra History as studio director. Was we did the official VR port for working with Klaus Tuber's sons, Benny and Guido, to make it. And
Oh
It
man, I'm so jealous. I play iPad VR all the time because my friends don't want to sit and play Catan with me for 9 hours straight. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, if you have anything in the meta ecosystem, it's on it and is
Yeah.
it's good.
okay,
But it is a very calming game. So if you're looking, and you can play with people or just against the AI. So if you're looking to put kids in a calming VR environment, I will actually recommend the game I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Try
Let's see. TK suggests Jackbox. Jackbox is one of those ones that needs a fair amount of setup ahead of time to like make sure it's all in the right vein and can go off the rails pretty quickly, as we've demonstrated, but also has some really good stuff in it. So
that's one we've been wanting to try on our CCTV, and like I think my vision of that, and you guys can tell me if I'm way off base on this one, is like having a live group in our lounge area playing it, but then also broadcasting it
yeah.
on our CCTV because
Yeah.
you use your phone, right? To like
Phone as a
yeah.
controller or voting mechanism.
Okay.
Let's see. Heave ho. Keep. Are you talking about keep talking and no one explodes? Odinir? Keep talking and no one explodes is. That's like more teen, I would say.
Pretty much anything by Shell Games is going to be good. That's
Yeah.
one of the Shell Games VR games.
Yep. Okay. Sorry, chat. I'm going through all of the stuff. Can I eat the roads at Catan VR? Because that's how I win, by blocking anyone from getting longest road. No, you're not allowed to eat them. We mentioned
You can definitely block people though. Like that is solid Catan strategy.
right. People were mentioning
Gecko game? What was that, Will?
yes, exactly. Astrobot and Astrobot's Playroom, if you haven't already. Like, and people were mentioning mascot platformers in general as like decent, good, light, fun, approachable games, right?
Yeah.
Later on this year, we're getting a new one. I don't know when it'll be out, but Nico de Rico is a mascot platformer that is very much in the style of old ones, except it's not leading a platform. It's just a mascot platformer. I'm very excited for that one.
Oh, Will.
Yes.
Power Wash Simulator?
Power Wash Simulator.
Oh,
Yo.
we had Fortnite going on 3 computers and Power Wash Simulator on another, and kids were just lining up for Power Wash Simulator. I was surprised. I thought everyone would be fighting over Fortnite, but that's a good one.
And that one's on a lot of different
I
platforms.
was gonna ask, do they make it for the Switch? Because I've only seen it on
would
PC.
be
but
shocked if they don't.
I know it's on Xbox, and if it's on Xbox, I'd be surprised if it's not.
Yeah, I think it's a Unity game, which means it should be on everything. People are mentioning the remaster of Spyro.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Spyro 1, 2, and 3 got remastered.
They put out a trilogy on the remaster, didn't they?
Yes.
oh, we'll have to get that. I don't think we have that.
Nice, Geoff. I see it, chat. Hang tight, hang tight. I'm gonna do a thing.
I'm old enough to play the OG Spyro here in the hospital, but gosh, when I ran a playroom, I had like a whole basket of all the Skylanders characters, and the kids' favorite thing was just to switch them all in and out to watch them pop up on the screen and disappear.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Tony Hawk. For the teen room, yeah, I would say Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 through 4 have all been remade now. That's pretty good.
I think I would hide it on our, like I'd put it on our PCs and hide it and just have a kid wear headphones if they're playing it in the lounge.
You can also nerf some of the level of the music, like like what, how mature you want it to be. You can edit individual tracks in and out.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had to do it when I played it on stream because there's a stream safe audio mode because copyright claims.
Yeah.
3 and 4 are soon TM. That's true. Yeah. Repo. Yes. Okay. So, all right. So let me explain Repo. What if you were a little robot helping your friend move their couch out of their apartment? And by friend, I mean someone who's definitely who you owe a bunch of money to, called the tax man. And by your apartment, I mean increasingly haunted, weird, random like places. There's like it's kind of scary, but it's not unapproachably scary, and all of the characters are really fun, and it's like everyone is a little pill-shaped robot. And when you can one of my favorite accessibility tools is every character has text to speech, and your mouth moves when you text to speech. So you can, so like for kids who are nonverbal but need to communicate, it's a really great tool for that. It is a little on the scary side, but it is good, I would say.
We do have a whole group of kids who love scary stuff. And like Connor set up a ghost capture camera for a kid one time because they wanted to, they were convinced their room was haunted and wanted to catch a ghost. So we have kids that would be right up their alley.
Remember chat, remember that one of Gen Z and Gen Alpha's favorite game series is Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't get it either, but they're like all about it.
Tweens love jump scare. They love to be scared. That's something I've learned, and I can't. Sometimes I'm like, I can't watch this, but you can. Like if your mom said it's okay.
Peak. Something like Vampire Survivor or another Bullet Heaven game might be really nice for tweens. Or actually, I could come up with some good Bullet Heaven games, like the games where you are not the one who your opponents don't bullet, you bullet, and you have all these weapons, and eventually you just turn into this whirlwind of pixel effects and everything else, and try and melt your graphics card. There are some.
I like Vampire Survivors because even though you're killing lots of things, they're all pixelated and they're all like just tiny little bats and ghosts and stuff.
There's also some that have lighter theming, like the Temtem one. There's a Temtem one where it's all like legally not Pokemon, but they're totally Pokemon. And it's got that theming of like, stuff faints, you're capturing new Tems, that kind of thing.
And there's, as far as like video game violence, there is that balance that we're always finding, like Fortnite, sometimes we justify it's a simulation and everybody plays it, but there's not a lot of gore. They fade out. There's not like blood flying everywhere. Same thing with like Halo. Is sometimes we can get away with that one because it's like lasers and aliens and it's not as bloody. And the pixelated stuff. Sometimes though the pixelated stuff's almost more graphic. It just depends on the game.
There's a certain level of suggestibility where when you fade out a little bit, your mind fills it in. So I can absolutely see that. But from what I remember, Vampire Survivors is
No, that one's fine. I've played that, or I've watched it. I haven't played it, but I've kind of been curious if that would be a good one.
It is surprisingly engrossing for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't last forever, but it's good. Let's see. We got Gunfire Reborn, Bastion. Oh, Bastion. Bastion's probably the only one of the Supergiant games that makes the list, but Bastion's real good.
Bastion. Okay.
It gets the, in my opinion, gets the award for
2.5D symmetric adventure explorer, a little bit of platformer.
Yeah.
It's just actually, it's the narrator makes the game. Like, it's a fun game, but there's this narrator with this deep voice that narrates the actions that you're doing.
Oh,
and then
cool.
it slowly starts disagreeing with some of the stuff you're doing or giving extra commentary. And
then you find the narrator. And then the narrator becomes a character, right? It's really good. The narrator and the music, yeah. That is true. Bastion can be a little rough, yeah. Maybe it's Teen Room. The other ones all have much more solid no reasons, right? Like, I can run down all of the rest of Supergiant's collections. Hades might no, Hades doesn't make it for the Teen Room. There's definitely some landmines in Hades that I wouldn't like. The problem isn't that they exist. The problem is that knowing if a kid's gonna run into them is really hard, right? And like, that's the hard part, right? Like, they're deep in there, but there are definitely some weird things in Hades. And Pyre and Transistor are both straight out for very specific reasons. And if you've played either of them, you know why. And if you don't, you should play both of them because they're both amazing, but not for this setting.
How about some of like the Lego Batman, Star Wars?
We talked about this while you were up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, that's good. So how do you feel, JJ, about hot seating long-term games for kids? So instead of having like instead of having this kid's island, farm, whatever, it's the Rooms Animal Crossing Island, the Rooms Stardew Valley farm, that kind of thing. Right, Stardew Valley.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely certain kids will be very like, that's mine. But we are kind of exploring and experimenting. Like, this is Game Day's village, and we're all sharing. And just know that there are other people using this space. And that kind of thing.
Has Minecraft been mentioned? I assume that every device in CS Mott Children's Hospital that can install Minecraft already has Minecraft on it.
Yep, and all 4 computers are connected to each other and can play together. We're exploring creating our own server. Yeah, we're just not sure what the legality and all that is.
Hit me up when you get to setting it up. I've done ours before.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Magicka is probably not it. Magicka's probably not it, I would say. The humor's a little adult. There was a motion for Blueprints.
I don't know that one.
I would say yes for the Teen Room. Blueprints is a first-person house building roguelike where you are drafting rooms to build out a mansion with 45 rooms, and your goal is to discover the 46th. It's a very deep puzzler game.
Okay.
And is one of the things that has a weird amount of meta progression, because once you know something, even if your save gets wiped, it's okay because now you know that thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense? Right. Yeah. Blueprints would also work as a group activity. That's very true.
Cool. Oh, that's great. Cause that's the other thing we're looking for is like group ideas for like engaging groups or encouraging kids to come down and play together. So that's the put in that bucket. Cool.
Let's see. Not Outer Wilds. For the same reasons that you all want me to play it on stream, not Outer Wilds. Yeah. Hey, Geoff. Your camera's lagging a lot, and I've tried to fix it on my end, and I don't know what's up, but it's acting squirrely.
Let me do a refresh.
Mist is an interesting one. The remake.
Oh,
they remade it recently. Like, the original slideshow would never hold up. Chris for Walka says, has anyone said Overcooked? Of course, Overcooked. And Unrailed, Derailed. There's another one that's like trains.
Well, I just sent a keyframe. Am I doing better?
A little. I imagine it's something with your connection because it's been pretty persistent. I don't think it's like a one-time thing. You're a little cleaner now, but I just wanted
Let me
to
do an internet speed test while we're checking.
Okay. Spelunky, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for like a 4-player beat 'em up. That's a good one.
I can't wait for beat 'em up day because that's my
Revenge.
jam.
There's the new Scott Pilgrim, which is a more modern take on the same idea. Scott Pilgrim's based on that era of beat 'em ups.
Would it be appropriate for all ages, or would that be a teen room one?
It's very cartoony. It's extremely cartoony. It might be T. I think it's E.
The movie and graphic novels are probably teen, but
the new game is not.
That's
based
why I
on
asked.
those.
I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
I've read some of the novels, but okay, cool. I'll try that one.
There's a new Power Rangers, I'm sure. Yep. Good question. Do you in general avoid games where you try and learn something like typing or piano? Good question.
No.
Okay.
We don't avoid. Yeah. Well, anything and everything as long as it's appropriate and it's something. So like, yeah, if it's educational, that's not a bad thing.
Okay, cool. Great. We'll work on that. Connor says that Unrailed and Overcooked games going to have controllers being thrown. That's true. That's why you have the wrist strap. The wrist strap isn't so you accidentally let go of it. It's for when you try and let go of it and you forget that it's on and you can't.
Is that my Connor?
Maybe.
Because he's the one who recommended those games before.
I don't think it's Gloomhaven. I don't think it's... Oh, yes. The Pokemon... Okay, not Magic. Magic's got too much baggage. The Pokemon game. The Pokemon trading card game client on PC. Yes. And the reason is you can't spend money on it.
Oh.
There's no way to do microtransactions. And because it's fast and light and fun, the kids could build collections for each computer, and you could set them up as friends with each other so they could play. There's really approachable ones. Like, you don't have to build the deck. You can play one of the starter decks, and you can only play against other people that have the starter deck. Right? Right. So like that's
so it's like Pokemon, like the card game.
Yes.
But it's all digital and it's just on the computer and it's a one-time buy.
It's free.
It's free?
Is free as in, yes, it's free as in lunch. The way that they make money off of it is that you can get, if you have physical Pokemon card packs, you can put in a code to get a pack in the game for every pack you buy in real life. But Pokemon makes so much money that it's essentially free advertising for the game, but it's free. I tried to put money into it and couldn't. Like, it's that's
we'll get that. The kids will love that.
Pokemon TCG Live, not TCG Pocket. Yes, correct. Yeah. No, I'm talking about Live, not Pocket. Correct.
I should say our med students will love that. We've had a lot of med students who are Pokemon fan. Like they are the perfect age for when Pokemon really hit.
Okay, so we got a great question, which is Kerbal Space Program. Okay, so how many of your kids want to be astronauts, and how many of them want to be astrophysicists? Because, like, Kerbal gets to the level of you need to be a rocket scientist.
Is that the one where you build a spaceship and try to land it?
Yeah. I think it would be an exercise in frustration for a lot of kids.
Yeah. I think it'd be a very specific kid who would really love that.
Yeah.
That's definitely the lock away and recommend a specific kid kind of game.
I'll put that in the teen games list. By the way, chat, you all are knocking it out of the park with this, both chats. Okay. Oopsie brings up a good one that someone else brought up in Twitch chat earlier, but I didn't get to at the time. Bloons. You familiar with Bloons?
Okay, my son just discovered that, and now he and I play together, and I am trying to figure out a good way to bring that into the hospital.
Okay, Bloons TD6
you can play
is on Steam.
You can do it on PC, right? Yeah, okay, because I've only played on the iPad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, if we're recommending tower defense, in my opinion, the single best tower defense game ever made still is one called Defense Grid, which came out like 15 years ago on Steam. You can probably pick it up for $5.
Cool.
Number 2, I thought was good, but not as good as number 1. But it is, again, for my money, still the best tower defense game ever made. It's a tower defense game with a story.
Yeah.
Tower defense are good to a point for people who like maybe can't move fast, but you can set it up, but then you do get to that point where you have to like hit stuff, or I don't know. It really depends on the game, but I think balloons is a good example of one that I think would fly really well.
Yeah.
Whoop. This one there for the teen room.
Orcs Must Die. Yeah, Orcs Must Die for the teen room is a good one.
Orcs Must Die, JJ, is imagine you're getting invaded by a horde of orcs through your castle, and you're like a mage with a crossbow or spells or other things, but you have a budget to spend on traps.
Oh, cool.
Traps, shock traps.
Is it?
And so it is third person over the shoulder shooting, and you run around placing traps and shooting things.
Yeah, it's like Fortnite Save the World. Yes. Cool. Here's one. I apologize in advance for the productivity hit the entire hospital will take when I say the word Balatro.
I love that game. I told Connor to put it on all the iPads, so I think we might have it, but we haven't put it on the PCs though, and that would be a good one, especially if we're trying to get the kids to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to know poker well enough. Is it too old for?
I don't think you do.
Okay.
I don't think you do.
Yeah, I think it tells you what the hands are and shows you. Like it's actually a good way to do like math stuff too. Like Balatro is one of those really great games that's not really edutainment, but man, if you don't learn some math while you're doing it,
it's a great waiting room game.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's trying to. The hardest part with that one is trying to get people to try it. Once they play it for like 5 minutes, they're hooked. But it's just trying to convince them. No, look, it's different. If you tell them it's kind of like solitaire, they sometimes jump on it.
Actually, it's funny, JJ. I have 3 games. Will's heard me say this that live on my iPad for my I'm killing time. It's Balatro, Slay the Spire, and Monster Train. Like those are my 3 that basically can take an infinite amount of time. And all are very good for that and have great iPad implementations.
Yeah. Plants vs. Zombies is another, like if it's not on everything, it probably should be. It's super approachable, very easy, very light.
That's an oldie but goodie that I think we forgot about and we should put back on.
Yeah, PVZ 1 for the record. PVZ 2 is good, and then after that they went like down into microtransactions for every plant like kind of level, and I was like, no, stop. You had a great thing going. Why stop?
It's
why
like,
are you doing this?
It's like Angry Birds. Angry Birds was the app that we used for everything here for a long time, and then Angry Birds 2 kind of ruined it.
Yeah. Connor, I am also taking notes. So I literally have a doc that I'm gonna send. I told JJ this, that I'm gonna send to JJ with links to all of these games when we're done. That's my project for tonight, or tomorrow maybe, but soon. 2 point. Yeah. So someone mentioned Ori. Someone mentioned 2 Point. I think those are both 2 progression based. Ori is also a little scary. That's probably a teen room game, but it is also heavily progression based, right? And remember, we've got this like reset problem, right?
Ori is that's like a certain kid kind of game. Like if I know a kid's stuck in their room for a long time, I would introduce them to Ori if that was their jam.
Okay. 2 Point was free on Epic last week and is on all of your computers already. All right, cool. Excellent.
I have a quick question, Will.
Yeah.
Since my computer connection is something like I've tested, I'm not sure what it is. Do you want me to drop and come back in so I'm not like a fuzzball on the right?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be back in a minute.
Keep them rolling, chat. These are all really good. And I know that we're having problems with Geoff, but fortunately for us, we've got JJ here, and also it's a super chill day, so we're not super fussed about it. Let's see what else. Someone mentioned open OTTD. I think that's a little much, and also does run into the legal question that Luke meant. Yeah. So yeah, not too much progression-based content is correct, right? Because we do have these things, right? We have daily computer wipes. We might be able to do some cloud saves. I do like Slime Rancher. Slime Rancher is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Castle Crashers might also be good. Those are good. Slime Rancher 1 and 2 are both very cute. Little Kitty Big City. Little Kitty Big City is a good one. That's a game where you explore a city as like a kitten. It's very cute.
I think I downloaded that on the Switch for my daughter, but I never actually played it or watched it. But that sounds like something that would be a big hit on the big screen.
Not
is that a one-player game?
Yes. Not Undertale. No. Incorrect. No. Try again.
That would be a teen in their own room with permission.
Yeah, that's like a whole thing. Unironically, yes, Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Unironically, it's actually turned out to be a really good game. By the way, I want you to know, I did this alphabetically, and we're now on triple M for a list of games.
Wow.
So I'm probably gonna prune this a little bit. Yeah, you need to experiment with Team Cloud Saves. Cool. We're trying, Dan, to do this in such a way that like there are definitely games where you could put in an unlock and then just freeze the game with everything unlocked and just call it good, like Balatro, right? Because there's a thing that lets you unlock everything in Balatro. Okami is way too progression heavy. Also, Okami gets a no because of Isun. If Isun could be yeeted directly into the heart of a dying star, then Okami would be a great game, but because you have a pervy sidekick for the entire game, it's a no. One of the reasons I hesitate to recommend Okami, despite the fact the game is beautiful. Has Cat Quest been mentioned? Cat Quest is good. One Deck Dungeon, maybe.
Oh, what's that?
It's like a dungeon crawler, but it's like playing cards.
Oh, okay.
Like create a dungeon. What about Worms?
Is that the one where the little worms are army guys?
Yeah.
And it's like a strategy game?
Yeah. Killer Queen Black. Fascinating idea.
Oh, I love that game. I never thought we could play it here, but with that big TV, we could.
Well, you need 10 controllers, right? Because
we got 10 controllers,
right? But what runs it? I mean, we could try it. I will put Killer Queen Black. Yeah,
it's on the Switch. Oh, but you need.
Yeah.
We might be able to figure that out.
Yeah, Killer Queen Black. Golf with Friends is already on their stuff. Yes. Enter the Gungeon. No. The whole like gun that kills the past thing is a little much. It's a little much. I'm gonna say probably not, based on what I know of Gungeon. Gungeon's probably the furthest in that direction I would go. Obviously, some stuff in that genre is right out, right? Isaac is beyond right out. Gungeon's iffy. Yeah, maybe not in a U.S. hospital. That's a really great way to put it. That's a really great way to put it. Thank you.
Maybe we tuck that into this is for that one special patient whose mama said it's okay.
Yeah.
File.
Yeah.
Not going on the 75 square inch TV that any kid can see and play.
Moonlighter's a maybe, but again, that's really progression heavy, right? We're getting a little deep on long games. Let's back up a step and go to fun, light, short games. If you've got a group of kids that are coming in together, there is a new one called Sunderfolk. It's a campaign-based RPG that plays on a big screen that you all control with your phones. So, like, if you had like a consistent group, like a therapy group or some other group of kids that you were working with, you could do like a session kind of thing, and that breaks down into sessions kind of nicely.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Legally not Portal game with the glove. Okay, I'm gonna need you to.
What?
Yeah.
Portal is a great one. We've used that one before.
Portal 2 also has co-op.
Yeah, Portal 2. Yeah.
Both excellent games.
Yep. Yoink. Yep. Oop. Geoff, I think it's just your connection today. You came back in, and I've got a color indicator for signal strength, and yours is red as you entered. So, who knows?
That is so weird.
It is.
Why don't you just leave me off screen then, so I'm not being fuzzy on screen?
I can do that. Hold on.
That's so odd because my internet connection on a speed test is aces.
Yeah. Well, see, like now you're fine, right? But like you will go fuzzy. But yeah, we can leave Geoff off for now. Disembodied voice.
I'm the voice of the chat.
Professor
Actually,
name
no,
is
Will is the voice of the chat.
I thought that was I thought disembodied voice was a game recommendation. I was like, I haven't heard that. That might be cool for visually impaired, maybe. I don't know.
Robocraft is dead. Civilization. No, we talked about the reasons not Civ earlier.
Actually, Civ Revolution, which is a
Civ
lighter
Revolution.
version.
Yeah.
Like that would be the one for. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
was a
much
good
more
game.
cartoony and much lighter on mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
These are all great, chat. You all are doing great. There is a game that's coming out for blind people. It's a game. I'm gonna have to go find it. There's a game that's coming out where you play as a submarine sonar operator. And their goal, it's by a company that used to be outsourced to do sound for other games. And because they're leaning into their strength, their goal is to make it so that you can play and navigate the entire game without needing any of the visuals.
Oh, cool.
Because it's about sonar, which I think is such a phenomenal idea for marrying a constraint with a concept to make something really cool. I think that's dope. I'm going to see if I can find it again. I don't remember what it is. Not Barotrauma. No, not Barotrauma. I have Hexarchy on the list already, Cyrex. I'll look up Ozymandias. Let's see. Maybe one of the F1 games. Luke, we suggested... Whoop, not that one. This one. We suggested much earlier on, we brought up Trackmania, Forza 5, and Gran Turismo 7. Is there another racer you'd recommend in with that group?
Are there any good arcade racers? Because we've got the Mario Karts and the F1s, and I'm trying to find a good
Diddy Kong Racing!
Diddy
Most of the kart racers have been sort of pushed out because why would you compete with Mario Kart? Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to find something like Rad Racer or like Outrun, like something that's kind of an in between the two. That's like a fun arcadey racing game.
Cruisin' has another one.
Cruisin'?
Cruisin'. Okay. Not Psychonauts. No.
No, probably not Psychonauts.
Definitely not Psychonauts. Rally. These are good. Star Wars Episode 1. Pretty much anything by PopCap and anything by Humongous Entertainment. You can get the entire Humongous Entertainment bundle for like $, I believe, on Switch. Not on Switch, on PC. And you can play like all of the Freddy Fish, Putt Putt, all of that stuff. I mention it because it's low cost of inclusion, both in terms of space and in terms of dollars, that you might find a kid who just loves Putt Putt, right? Yeah. Like in the right age group. And then you've got, they're nice bite size. You don't care about saves. They can play one every time they're there. And then you move them on to Freddy Fish and Spy Fox and everything else. And, that's Freddy Fish, Putt Putt, Pajamas Sam, Fatty Bear, and Spy Fox, I think. Yeah. Glass Masquerade. Okay, I'll look at that one. I remember there's supposed to be a new game that's sort of like Ridge Racer. Incredible.
Oh,
Machine.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. We're now on to Triple Z's chat. Y'all are defying my wildest expectations here, by the way. Klonoa. Oh man, that's I don't even know if there's a non-advanced version of Klonoa that's available right now, but sure. Cruisin' Blast is the new one. Okay.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Blast is the new one. One of your buddies has been asking for the Steam ID so you can give bad rats. Correct. Vetoed. Good job. The Pedestrian is a good one. I want something like silly, chat. What's like a silly, like...
So I can give you, here's an example of a game that we're looking for that's similar. Ultra Food Mess is probably one of the kids' favorite games. You can just jump in, play with one, like it's literally just, you just play with the Joy-Con or the joystick. You don't even use any buttons. And it's fast and easy, and everyone laughs and yells at each other while they're playing it. So that's like...
What was that one called again?
Ultra Food Mess. I probably said it wrong. The guys make fun of me because I always say it wrong. If Connor's in the chat, he'll correct me. But
not One Finger Death Punch. We mentioned Worms a couple of times, maybe. I don't know if there's a current version of Worms. Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Oh yeah, we use that one a lot. That's a good one. And stuff like that. If you got other...
Okay, it's a Switch game. Got it. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, anything that's like one stick control is probably good. Right? Because like the fewer things you need to do, the easier it is to make that accessible to everyone, right? He said it right. Best $4 we ever spent. Okay, that's fine.
All right. Thanks for that validation.
Pokemon Snap is a good one.
Oh yeah,
it's a shooter that isn't a shooter. It's right, because Pokemon Snap is a light gun game, so everyone's on the same page. Pokemon Snap is more or less exactly the same game as House of the Dead.
Yeah.
Mechanically, right? They're just, the skin is totally different, and it's great. Motion controls for Pokemon. Yeah. Chat keeps suggesting Truck Simulator. No, chat, we're not having kids in hospitals learn to become long-haul truckers across the United States.
I mean, if they want to.
Sure. Yeah. It's also, I am also trying to be conscious of anything we suggest, take the cost to get it and multiply it by 4.
That's true.
Right? So I am also trying to be somewhat conscious of that. Like in the background, I'm sort of filtering for that, just so you all are aware. And Truck Simulator has hundreds of dollars of DLC to make it a good game. So no.
Seriously?
Yes. Truck Simulator has hundreds of to thousands of dollars of DLC. Like you can get DLC per state. Like it's wild. Paratech. Okay. Desert Bus Simulator. Stop. Get some help. Yes, I'm denying kids the chance to go to Truck University, home of the trucks go trucks. That one. Yes. We mentioned Overcooked. Train Simulator costs more than some houses. Correct. That is true. Do a desert bus event on the big screen. I mean, there's already Desert Bus for Hope.
When you said Truck Simulator, I thought it was just another version of Bus Simulator, Desert Bus Simulator. That's why I was like, well, maybe.
Truck Simulator is like actually full on,
like real truck.
Calculating jobs and dollars per mile and fuel weight and like inspections and not getting pulled over by the cop, like everything. Could do Roadcraft or SnowRunners. Okay. We did have a kid beg for Farming Simulator once. Okay. Interesting.
Oh, I remember we did. That's funny.
It sounds like a kid of legend. Yeah. All right, chat. I'm going to say, Goat Sim.
Oh,
yes.
Goat Simulator is the spiritual successor to, is very much the spiritual successor to Tony Hawk.
That one's
Goat Simulator has exactly the same bones as Tony Hawk. Fight me.
That one's got a lot of play at my house personally. My kids and I play that game a lot. So
Chex Quest, Dive Kick. I will look into Dive Kick's a 2-button fighting game.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We're not doing Turnip Boy robs a bank or its sequel, Turnip Boy commits tax evasion. We're not doing either of those, chat. Behave. Bug Snacks is significantly more than mild body horror. Thank you.
That's starting to remind me of some of our kids now.
Yeah.
Hey, can you get me?
Yeah. All right, chat. I think this is good. We got up to quadruple letters.
Wow.
So I have a long list of games to research and prune down and send to. No, we're not giving the kids papers, please. Stop it. Get some help. I think that is a good place for us to wrap up our list. But I do think this has been great. This has been a very good, interesting sort of exercise. And I do really like that you all have been really into this, and for the most part, aside from games endorsing felonies and also papers, please, been pretty on with all of your suggestions. And also, yes, chat, a game about replacing body parts is a touch on the nose for some of the kids. So, maybe don't. Maybe don't do that. So, that I think is a good place for us to end for today.
Our final one is in Schedule 1 as a recommendation?
No, we're not. No, we're not. No, stop it. This is why we're ending this, is because you've gotten too silly.
We've gone to plaid.
You guys, this is how our patient tech meetings go. Like when they're an hour or two and we're like, okay, guys, we got to wrap it up. We're getting too
belonging. Chat, I encourage all of you to get some help. And maybe play some other games.
You all have the dark humor of clinicians. I appreciate you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Chat, thank you all so much for participating in this. If you think we missed something, hit us up on Blue Sky or in the comments below on YouTube. I will be curating a list and sending it off to our friends over at Mott. I have quite a bit of homework to do on that front because I think this is going to be a cool thing. And I'll be checking comments and Blue Sky messages for other suggestions for games that could be appropriate. Also, as a programming note, this is our last stream until the Monday after next over on YouTube because we are off all of next week. So our next stream on YouTube will be Monday, July 7th. Monday, July 7th is our next stream on YouTube. So please look forward to that. If this makes it to Rocky, I hope you've enjoyed. And I think that's it. JJ, thank you so much for joining us and for doing this. And Geoff, thank you as always for being the disembodied voice.
Usually I'm an embodied voice, but I will play the disembodied voice lurking in the back for today. But yeah, JJ, for real, like these kinds of things are always great. Just it gives our community a chance to learn about other uses of games and game culture, which I think everybody really enjoys.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on and for chat, for all of your recommendations. I have a lot of games to play and I'm really excited to try them out with our kids. So thank you.
All right. I guess all that remains is for JJ and Geoff to say bye to the people.
You first, JJ?
Bye to the people.
And bye to the people. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Cool.
Hey, do me a favor, throw me back on. I want to see if I'm better. Or am I still redlining?
Yeah. Hold on.
Oop. I saw myself fuzzy. I checked the other one. I'm like, I don't want that on the VOD. So I was just like,
yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, cool. But that went longer than I thought it would, but actually I should have expected it to go longer. Yes, make JJ play repo, send us clips. Do it. Yeah, sorry, we're not actually done. For anyone who's new at this, that ends the recording, and we stick around and answer any other questions that we may have missed. So yeah, great. I think that's gonna do it though. We do have stuff with me and Matt coming up. So if you're over on YouTube, pop on over to Twitch. And we'll be playing some Elden Ring Night Rain coming up next with people from the community. Matt and I have revenge to take upon some Night Lords. So please look forward to that. Let's say bye to YouTube. We'll see all of you on the 7th. Please enjoy the time until then. Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
We'll see ya.